Hello everybody, welcome to VillainVOD episode number 4. I'm joined with Connor. How are you doing today, mate? You alright?
I'm all good. A bit tired.
Bit tired. What have you been up to? Been
Celebrating Villains 1 year
Oh
on
yeah,
my own.
big day. Yeah, we didn't turn a year old. We officially turned a year old, according to HMRC yesterday, right?
And the opening of our store.
Yeah, actually that's a good point. Yeah, it's had our website open for a year. What a wild ride it's been.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, isn't it? Mate, we could do a whole pod based on just running a business alone, right?
Yep.
But yeah, you've got a little dog chilling in the back, look, between the banister rails. Hello,
She's
Evie.
waiting for Holly to come out. Here she comes.
Here she comes. She just wants to get involved with the pod, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, now she's in.
She's in. Hello. Evie, say hello to YouTube. Oh, she's so cute. Reggie's locked outside. I don't need that chaos in my life right now. Cool. So we've got a couple of topics that we want to talk about today. It's been a while since we did the last one. Last one was we did like a little Q&A and a box opening, which was quite cool.
Yeah.
But this one's like a pre-recorded one, so hopefully there won't be too much editing. But we're not doing this one live, so I can edit out all of the swear words and terrible things that happen, which never happens anyway. We're pretty good.
It's a bit too early for swears.
Yeah, and there's no uncertified fire here, so no danger.
Yeah.
So we're all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some kind of like news and stuff that we can catch up on, and then we've got our main topic, which is I don't really know how to phrase it, but it's like what makes a good grading label, or what are our preferences. It's not the best grading company, just as a disclaimer. That's a really hard topic to dig into. I think we're just talking more about what the purpose of a grading label is, and kind of what our preferences are, and what we think. We can critique a few things that are out there and what we think is good or not. So yeah. Let's start off with a little. We've done a little catch up. Like I said, we've had our 1 year anniversary. What's been going on with you with cards? Have you made any purchases? You opened anything new? Anything new in the collection? Anything spicy?
Not really. Since the last video, I acquired a special delivery bidder.
Nice.
That was pretty spicy.
Do you mind saying how much you paid for it?
£120.
Okay, not as bad as was it like 200 when it released or something stupid?
I bought it way below any of the previous solds on eBay when I grabbed it.
And you grabbed it from eBay, right? You didn't go private or anything. Yeah.
No. This was an auction as well.
Oh wow, nice. You little sniper.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to win it. I just put it in and thought, see what happens. So yeah, I'm just having a look now. So the last 3 sold were 220, 250, 220.
Oh, nice. And that was that's since you've bought yours?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, there you go. Well, we've got no idea whether they're shills or not, but 3 sales normally would say that it's probably up at that price point. How many of those promos have you got left now? If you've got both the special deliveries, don't you?
Yeah, I've got both special deliveries, yeah. So, awaiting special delivery Charizard.
The UK exclusive.
If it is a UK exclusive, yeah, that should make it easier to obtain than the other 2.
You say that,
having both. Well, yeah, but both have been American exclusives. Well, Canadian and American.
Yeah.
But
be nice to get one here, wouldn't it?
Yes. Well, yeah. Okay, I assume once our Poke Center officially launches, because it's still in soft launch, despite the fact it's full of product.
Yeah, it's loads, isn't there? It's loads. Anything else? You've picked up a couple of there's like the Battle Academy exclusives, like the non-hollows. And
yeah, bought the Battle Academy, just a complete Sword and Shield base.
Again, for the 20th time or whatever it is.
Yeah, I await the next product to ruin that. There's a trainer toolkit coming, which I'm sure is going to have some cards in that. That'll ruin that.
Is there any exclusives in the Battle Stadium that they've just released for Brilliant Stars, the Arceus one? Do you know?
Not that you couldn't get from the pre-release kit.
Okay, cool, nice. And you've got all those, haven't you? Because you went to the event. Nice. I've still not opened mine actually. Mash was saying it's still at the shop, so I'm going to wait until Astral Radiance pre-releases in 2 weeks, right? We signed up for that on the Friday, aren't we?
Yeah.
Cool. So we might grab a bit of footage for that. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? We'd go grab some bits and do some of the stuff.
13th, I think we're going.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Mash making his appearance. That'd be good.
Well, he's a B-knock now.
Yeah, he is. Randolph's best mate and a great TCG player. To be fair to him, he's pretty good, isn't he? So yeah, nice. I'm trying to think if I've grabbed anything recently. I had a collection from a colleague come in, but I've kind of been sifting through that. It's all English.
Did you buy some Rays?
Did I buy some Rays since we last spoke? Maybe not. I grabbed I've got 2 copies of the VMAX from VMAX Climax, the CSR. I got the gold from there as well, which is nice. Finally picked that up. There are some problems with them. I say problems like tiny little nicks and things like that basically mean that I wouldn't grade them just because they're going to be 9s. Like, it's just going to happen. The guy sold them me as mint on Facebook, and it's the classic. They're mint, and then you get your light out and whatever, and you see something immediately, and you're like, oh, well. I got another Shining Ray as well from what's it called? Shining Legends, which is one of my favourite sets of all time. So that's cool. Got a spare one of those, so might send another one off to grade, which will be cool. But yeah, aside from that, I've grabbed a couple of XY full arts intermittently. But other than that, I haven't really opened up that much stuff. I'm looking forward to Astral Radiance from a competitive perspective, because I think for that I just want to see a bit of a shake up with like the Mew meta that's going on at the moment. It just completely puts me off from.
I think the Mew meta's done.
Well, based on.
I think it's based on Europeans that are going on this weekend.
Oh, okay. I actually haven't checked any of that.
Only one Mew got to the top 8.
Wow. Is it all Urshifu or Moltres?
Rapid Striker Urshifu has dominated, but obviously with the dark support from
Moltres, isn't it?
Moltres.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I think Tord was winning with a Whimsicott deck, I believe.
Really? Whimsicott?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a Sylveon VMAX deck that's got into the top 8 as well.
Well, there we go. Well, that's cool. I haven't really, like I say, I haven't really kept up with the EU stuff that's going on. It's in the Netherlands at the moment, isn't it? Is that right?
I think it's Germany.
Germany, that's it. Okay. Cool. People trying to get points. Looking forward to Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, top half of the top 8 wasn't. They weren't Europeans.
Okay.
So people have flown in from all over the world. Yeah,
they need points, don't they?
Points being prizes.
Yeah, indeed. Well, and places at Worlds that are extremely hard to come. It's a lot of points, isn't it? Because we asked Dom and Paddy about that, didn't we? And
yeah, I think it changes on the region you're based in, but it's more.
America's more because they have more regional events, right?
Yeah.
But here they just I love how, I know it's like domestic flights between states are still quite long in America, but I like how the Pokemon company like treats it as like, oh, it's just a casual trip to Germany, like for people who were in like the UK or whatever. It's like, it just isn't. It's not that easy. It really isn't.
There's another one coming up in Spain.
Okay.
In I think a month's time.
Yeah.
For more points, but obviously if you got points at Liverpool, then I guess the expectation then is you try and go to Germany and Spain to give yourself the best chance.
Yeah. Cool. Technical hitch. Fun times. We continue. Cool. So we could talk about that. Should we jump into some of the news and stuff like that? We said we're going to chat about. So first thing I suppose is Time Gazer and Space Juggler was released last Friday. So loads of people opening that up. What are you thinking about the set?
I like them.
You like them?
I do like them.
Preference for one side? We like the little duo sets, don't we? They're good.
Yeah, I think my preference is probably with Space Juggler. Just on the secret rares.
Okay. So what we got in there then? I'm going to jump over to the browser so these guys can see. Cool. So this is Space Juggler. So what are you saying? What's pulling you in from the secret rares in comparison to the other half?
Well, I really like Palkia. Like the Palkia Altar.
Yeah.
And although it looks really weird, it's like a sort of copy of an artist, but I can't remember the artist's name. His style of work.
Yeah, it's the guy who does all the infinite staircases and stuff like that, isn't it? Yeah, very
And
cool.
I just like how that works. That and they put Palkia into that. B drill was an unexpected surprise.
Gen 1 getting some love. It's good.
Oh, only disappointing part was that there isn't a Weedle or a Kakuna in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the alt-arts have multiple Pokemon in them.
Yeah, I mean Sneasler, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Sneasler, we spoke before. It's not a favorite Pokemon, but the Sneasler art is really good.
Yeah, it's Okacheko though, so like, it's one of the best like artists recently. They've been smashing out cards left, right, and centre. They've been awesome. But very similar to the Honchkrow theme, right, where you've got the later evolution and then the like stage 1 or basics, because they had the Honchkrow with the Murkrows, and that was a really cool card in Starbirth, right? That was in Starbirth, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Iridar as well. Waifu prices. How do we feel about that? Just ridiculous, isn't it? I haven't looked at the price, but I was pretty sure it was like nearing £200 on release week, so haven't looked at that since, but just ridiculous price. Great looking card though, to be fair. Good full art trainer.
But yeah, you wouldn't pay the price for that card.
Just no way.
I think the Temple of Sinnoh is a great gold card as well.
Yeah, there's some. The Stadium gold cards on both sides are phenomenal.
Yeah, Path to the Peak is
Path
also...
to the Peaks is top tier, isn't it? I'm just going to grab that up. There we go. See that down there. It's just awesome. It looks really good in person as well, because the gold outlining on the snowflakes, like especially on the right hand side, because it almost blends into the border, works really well. It's a really, really cool card. We got some boots, obviously gold boots, double turbo energy.
Got the gloves now. No gloves.
All boots. Yeah. And then we've got the travesty of the gold box legendaries that are just awful, but they've got to put it to go with Arceus that was in Starbirth, so it is what it is. I've no idea how playable those V-stars are, but yeah,
it's supposed to be quite playable.
Okay, too bad it looks like someone's just those. Do you remember that program? Not the program. There was the website where it was like Pokemon Combiner. You just chose two Pokemon and it mashed them together. Just looks like someone's done that with Arceus and the legendaries. It's just terrible. Anyway, I'm going to play Devil's Advocate and say that I think the Beedrill could be better. I think it's a really nice card, but there's loads of like really cool scenes I remember from the original like anime and stuff with Beedrill, like in the forest with like glowy red eyes and stuff like that. They're supposed to be like quite threatening and sinister. Like that's the whole point of Beedrill. Like you're not supposed to anger them, and then they go like absolutely mental. Whereas this one, it's like, oh, fluffy, like nice flowers. I'm like, to me that would suit maybe like Butterfree more rather than Beedrill, but still a nice card.
It's doing its bee thing and pollinate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. Well, it's based on a wasp though, isn't it? Which is weird.
Yeah, but it's called Beedrill.
It should be called Wasp Drill. What they do.
There's also there is a card I need to mention in I think it's in Time Gazer.
Yeah.
Squovent.
Oh, okay.
Feels like it should be in Adventure Time.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. It is weird. I find it quite unsettling. Like it's staring into my soul.
It just feels like the artist is just they've just been let go from Adventure Time, or they've just been waiting for something since Adventure Time finished, and now they're Pokemon gone. Come on then. Yeah. Come do some weird cards.
It is weird. There's a beautiful So-So Eevee in Time Gazer, which is one of the best arts that So-So's done. Obviously, we've got Kamiya's. The Magnezone or Magnemite line is really good in Time Gazer, and I think the Poly line as well for me is top tier from Time Gazer. But yeah,
there's a Shinji card.
Where?
Araquanid.
Araquanid. The water type. Is that Time?
Oh no, not Araquanid. Sorry. Oh god, I've forgotten this Pokemon's name. Evolves from Spinarak.
Spinarak. Ariados.
Ariados, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in Space Juggler, isn't it? There we go. Where is it? Am I being blind?
It's in Time Gazer.
Oh, is it Dark type?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh yeah, there you go. There it is. Kanda coming through again. Very nice card. I'm going to go with the other side though for my preference. I think I Obviously, Arita has a Dialga, which is extremely special, and the Machamp is just S tier. It's just stupid good. I don't think there's been a better alt art in a long time, personally. It's just
Cool.
you know what I'm like. I like the when Pokemon are doing like everyday tasks, and so this is a cool card, and it's got a really cool Trapinch in it as well. Just trying to help.
And the Maractus.
And the Maractus, yeah.
I've only just noticed the Doug Trio.
Where's the Doug Trio?
Hidden behind the attack text.
Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, just here. Man, what a card that is.
So and that's what the Beedrill card's missing. Just some other Pokemon.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I think your point about Weedle and Kakuna, that would be quite cool. Or if it had Butterfree in as well.
Yeah.
The other side. Be quite cool.
Yeah, because like Lilligant's got lots of other Pokemon in it.
Oh, the alt art. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Really nice hand illustrated style on this one as well. By Kadama. Very cool. I like the little Pachirisu just in the tree hole nibbling.
Yeah, it's nice how they've done the. Oh, there's a Swinub as well. Didn't notice the Swinub.
Oh yeah.
How it's split between the ice above and below the ice surface.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, they've done well there. I don't know whether it's like supposed to be like bang on because there's the soil level as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
That perspective for me isn't, you know, like on other, so like someone who always nails it obviously is Arita. You know how he does there's like the Feraligatr from Expedition. There's also a Blastoise card from a while back. I don't think that's by Arita. It might be. But that was I think Fire Red Leaf Green. It was in the E series. But having Pokemon that have that perspective of like the water line is just like awesome. Like it's really cool. And this one doesn't quite have that perspective point, but it is nice how they've like done that split. So like Swinub is dug down. Little is that Overquill? Yeah, in the bottom right. Yeah. So we've got the new forms there. Really cool, but super strong sets. Like really good. The full art trainers are top tier for me. Like really well themed with obviously Arceus, which is the whole point. Just like super good. The only reason why I'd say Space Juggler is a little weaker, just in my opinion, is that personally the Palkia has the best theming, but Time Gazer has like Arida's in Space Juggler, and that price point is just because it's a female, like in Japan, because that's just how it works. But other than that, like I just think the alt arts on the other side are better, and the full art trainers have just a better spread. But yeah, it's just based on preference, isn't it? The Jiraxi's cool as well. I like the background on the full art.
Yeah, the Jiraxi does look good.
It's nice. So super strong sets. Excited to see how the hell they're going to fit these cards into English sets. I'm sure you're absolutely bricking it about how you're going to collect all these.
Well, my champ's been confirmed for Astral Radiance.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's cool.
There's a start.
There's a start. We're getting there. Cool. So Space Juggler and Time Gazer out. We'll grab some. We're going to be grabbing some boxes. Hopefully, we can do a break pretty soon. We've just been out of action. Like I've been away twice, and we've been. It's just been so hard trying to get stuff across as well. There are still like problems with delivery from Japan at the moment, so you have to go privately. So you have to wait for shipping rates to go down and find the right time, because otherwise it costs an arm and a leg to send things. So
and that will continue as long as the war in Ukraine continues.
Carries on. Yeah. So we're going to try and get some boxes. See if we can pull some of those arts. That'd be exciting. And like we said, the regular art in the two sets are awesome. So
everything that they've released this year.
Yeah, it's been top tier, right? Yeah. People say we're in the golden age, and I'm like, we're up there. Like, you know, I think it's just because we had such a contrast before. I'm just going to switch the face cams over. We had such a contrast before with like when you compared Aquapolis and Skyridge to like other sets, because there was a lot of stock art used in other sets around there, but like the e-reader sets and stuff are just so strong. Like that whole era had so many great pieces of art in that I think people forget. But
I think it's the sheer volume of great art we're getting per set now.
I think it's just sheer volume anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the it's not like we're having a whole set dominated by 3 or 4 artists.
Mm-hmm.
Some artists are getting 1 card in the set.
Yeah.
But there's 20, 30 artists.
Well.
Yeah.
But
well, we had an Arita-less set.
Which is bonkers.
Yeah.
Just seems so weird. But like I say, it's good for people to get spotlight. We'll have a chat about some more art a bit later. I think it'll be a nice topic for us to circle around to. But yeah, I mean, talking about we're getting such a massive variety. There's so many sets that are coming out at the moment. It's been a bit difficult for Japan as well, especially with like EV Heroes. That was a big one where availability was low. English at the moment, it's got better. It's got a lot better recently. But the next piece of news we had was Millenium Print Group got acquired by the Pokemon Company International, or maybe the American subsidiary, or however it works out. Basically, Pokemon have bought the print group. So, for a bit of background for people who don't know, Millenium produce all of the cards for the English print. I'm not sure about other European prints in other languages. I'm not quite sure. I imagine they do. I can't imagine.
I think I read they do Latin America as well.
Yeah, but it would surprise me because obviously we know that there's like German prints and French prints and things like that. It would surprise me if that printing was done in mainland Europe, because if it was, then why wouldn't they just print English cards here too and then ship them to the UK? But that is a point that we can talk about with this. But I suppose for America, it just means that maybe they just start churning out more cards. What do you think this means for the availability over there?
Oh well, before availability, hopefully it increases print quality.
Yeah.
that would be my starting point. I think availability is solving itself, especially in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
We're obviously going through a cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
And having spoken to Joe at our LGS, he was saying that sales are down across the board, not just Pokemon.
Yeah.
But and everything. But the cost of life is just going through the roof. So you have to make choices, and hobbies are the first thing that go, aren't they? So
yeah.
So I think availability is just becoming better because we've got less people buying it.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully the purchase of this gonna focus on print quality before anything else, because there has been some atrocious cards that have been pulled from packs.
Yeah. Remember when crimping was rare? Like, yeah, crimps just turn up everywhere now.
The fact that you can go on Reddit and you can see multiple cards where it's half and half of a card because it's been miscut horrifically, or it's had a card printed on top of the card. So I think I think Gramble V got leaked because its silhouette was printed on top of a card from the previous set.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just as a disclaimer though, with this stuff, like, we are in a different time. Like, when Pokemon was released, like, mid 90s all the way through to like the noughties, where it was really, really at the peak of its popularity, we were just like, the internet wasn't really a thing for like consuming and spreading like hobbies. You had to hear by word of mouth or go to like big events, conferences, be in like larger communities for within larger areas, especially in America. It was massive there. So now, like, I can open a pack and be like, what the hell is this misprint or miscut, and then just put it up online and everyone's got it. And I think everyone does that now, because especially with the last 2 years, a lot of people have been looking. It's like, where can I get value from? Every time they open a pack, that seems to be the main motive, especially for people who, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but like, who are like less informed about past sets, print quality, what things have been going on. So when someone pulls like a crimped card, for example, I turn around and go, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, but there's loads of crimped cards now. Like, there just seems to be things. Whereas before, maybe it was rare, maybe it wasn't. Talking about the print that was over the top, that Gramble, the double layer print. I mean, Leonhardt posted a put a photo yesterday, I think it was, on social media where he purchased. Was it base? It was a WotC set, I'm pretty sure, where essentially the cards are printed over the top of energies, so it's like it's the same effect. So it's been going on for a while.
For a long time.
It's just whether we were aware of it, whether people valued it as something, whether there was an actual collector's niche for that thing, and whether they just all went in the bin because they were worth nothing. Whether they even made it to cut and into packs, right? I mean, he's got a sheet, so that means it was never cut and it was never put out into. Maybe 1 or 2 sheets got out, I don't know, but some of the miscuts have been terrible though, like the centering and things like that, like cards where they're like wonky. I mean, I've had a few that
you've got the obstacle, haven't you?
So annoyed about that.
Big gold obstacle.
It's just a wonky Obstagoon secret rare from Vivid Voltage, which was such a cool card to get because he's got such a wicked shiny palette. But yeah, it's like skewed off at the side. Not enough so you notice it like straight away, but when you see it, it is really bad. Like, it's super wonk. But yeah, it's a cool card to have. It'd just be cool if it was a bit rarer for things like that to happen. So yeah, I suppose with movements like that happening, I think they're pretty aware. Like you say, it's either motivated based on availability or quality control, or it could be monetary based. You know, if they buy the company, it's cheaper for them to produce the cards. Maybe they make more money. That's kind of a running-ish theme. I know other card games are looking at making more money. There's lots of monetary movements at the moment. Magic the Gathering just announced its highest price increase ever. It's like 11% on some of its products. So cost of living goes up.
Are they trying to scare people away?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, don't play Magic, play Pokemon. I play a lot of Magic. It's good. It's a great game.
Wow.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think the thing is with that stuff is that with the cost of living and things like that, I mean, that's happening all over the world with certain companies trying to make moves to either increase prices or increase profit margins. Right now is the time where they can feel like either less publicly lambasted for it. Like, let's say a company increases its prices, or they make a move like this where they acquire a company so they can make more money. Most people are going to be outraged regardless of the circumstance of, like, cost goes up, I feel bad. But for a company to be able to justify it in public forum and say, oh, by the way, our costs to ship this have gone up, this has gone up, this is going up, so this is why we're buying this company to make more margin, or, you know, increasing this price. And despite the fact, like, if you're going out to the supermarket and your spaghetti's gone up and your milk and all the other stuff that you buy every day has gone up, if the other things in your life move uniformly with those things, whether you're conscious of it or not, you're more likely to accept it. So I'm not surprised that they've made this move. I think it will be a good move. I suppose the next question is, do you think anything like this will ever happen over this side? So do you think we'll ever get printing here? Because
No, I don't think so. I was trying to find a pack that I had somewhere to see where, because I think all the UK packs are American printed, aren't they?
Yeah, they're printed by Millenium and then shipped here.
Yeah. It's the never-ending question, because it's the same question you could have asked a company like PSA should they open a European headquarters. Yeah. And again, it probably comes down to margin, and is it worth the investment cost? Because is the demand they've had for the past 2 years, it's has caused the product scarcity. Is that worth investing hundreds of millions on setting up a supply chain in Europe, whereas they can just carry on shipping? Yeah,
I think if it's going to be anywhere, it will be in mainland Europe rather than like in the UK, because it will be cheaper.
You base yourself within the European Union.
Yeah, not here, basically.
Thanks, Brexit.
Cheers. Thanks, boss.
Yeah. You base yourself. Why would you base yourself? You wouldn't make it in the UK because we're not in any trade markets. Whereas the European Union is the single biggest trade market in the world. Although obviously you don't have to print in multiple languages, but I guess if you open one factory,
they're doing that anyway, right? Like the thing is, they would just move what they're printing. They would move some allocation from America to mainland Europe, and then put some of what they were already printing in different languages. I assume if that's what's happening over there, over to Europe. I'd be interested to see where those, like the foreign languages like German, French, Italian, or get printed Spanish.
Yeah, when they get.
Yeah, I suppose Latin America, if they're printed in Spanish, I imagine they're printed in America. But yeah, like I say, mainland Europe languages, very interested to see where they get printed. I would assume it's America, but really cool development. Shows that clearly things are going well for Pokemon despite the dip and despite all the outrage for product availability and all the other stuff that's been going on over the last 2 years. Things are going well, so I think it's a positive thing overall. I'm excited to see what changes it brings. I imagine prices are going to go up anyway, and I think that will be irrelevant of this print acquisition. So, yeah.
I mean, another point is it might reduce the number of leaks.
Oh yeah, because they've had a lot of factory with the. Was it Charizard V-Star or was it VMAX or? It was the VMAX from Shining Fates.
Yeah. And then pretty much every one of the last 3 sets has been leaked early.
Yeah.
Like we knew about Astral Radiance, and we'd seen the worst part is we'd seen pictures from inside the factory of the boxes being made.
How does that?
And
happen?
That was
yeah.
And that was before Starbirth came out.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I guess once you're an employee, because I assume these guys will become employees of Pokemon Company International.
It depends, because if they're just owned, because Pokemon Company just bought a majority share, right? Or it'll still be a separate entity. So I imagine they'll still be, but the processes will change, right? That I know they're very, very, very strict in Japan. So it's why you never see. When people say leaks in Japan, leaks is basically card stores getting the boxes a few days early or a week early, and they open a load because the single market in Japan is so high. So that's where you see those photos. It's literally shop owners either selling boxes to people early, which they shouldn't do, or it's them cracking boxes themselves and uploading the secret rares ready for when their customers come in the next week, so they know what's coming. So yeah, completely different process over there. Massively. Like they're so regimented with how they do things. It's like phones in lockers, can't do this, can't go in here, you can't leave without getting checked and things like that. It's I imagine it's a much more tightly run ship. So yeah, talking about Japan, we've got some new sets coming as well, right?
Yes, we do.
What sets do we
fast
have?
now.
What sets do we have?
Well, our next one's Dark Phantasma.
And that's May 13th, right?
May 13th, yeah. So we're not too far away from that, with Hisui and Zoroark as our lead man.
Nice. Do you think they'll do more about like those lost zones and stuff like that in that?
I think there's Lost Abyss due, so I assume that'll be then. I mean, it's a bit of a wide guess, but I mean, I'd never played Pokemon when they had the Lost Zone. It was Black and White era, wasn't it? So I don't.
Lost Zone was just after Call of Legends. It was Lost Link, so that was Gen 4.
So yeah, I don't have a full understanding of what the Lost Zone does or how it works or how it will impact the meta.
It's basically non-discard pile. It's inaccessible. It's like exiled out of the game, essentially. It means because especially a lot of supporters we see now, like a lot of water decks. When we saw Calyrex running quite well, Capacious Bucket, Nessa, Millenia. Is it Millenia? She runs. There's like Frostmoth. There's loads of cards that basically bring stuff back from the discard pile. What the Lost Zone does is it basically says that card is now out of the game. So could change up the way some sports work. Normally, I would say the game of Pokemon, unless it's an item card for the TCG, it's not quick enough to remove enough threats for that to be much of an effect right now. It was a lot slower before. So the one thing that I find with Pokemon now, I know we're on a bit of a tangent, but it's like quick to set up, really hard to stop and slow momentum. So like I say, when you introduce concepts like this, like let's say you have a supporter that puts something in the Lost Zone, right? So that means like maybe something from their discard pile goes into the Lost Zone. So you've removed one supporter. Well, they're running 3 others, and they've got another item card that can let them search for a trainer card or swap one and discard and draw, and then it's done. You've only got 60 cards, so it's very easy for them to recover and set back up again from that, which is why when most people set up and they have these big decks like, Draladon, Arceus, Mew, Rapid Strike as well is another one where it's like it gets going so quickly that you can basically tell by turn 1 or 2, like, okay, I'm screwed here. I've lost. Like I cannot catch back up, and that's getting more and more apparent as the modern meta moves forward. It has been happening for a long time. So Lost Zones could be interesting. I'd be interested to see what goes with that.
So it's probably worth if we quickly go back to Dark Phantasma. So it's another holiday set.
Yeah,
it's 71 cards.
How many?
71 cards. So pre-secret res.
Okay.
We're getting the Pokeball reverse holo that we had in Battle Region.
Oh, nice, the glittery one. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I'd love that. I want if it needs to be in English.
Yeah, it's wicked,
it needs to be. I don't care if they save it for the next generation, but that has to be the reverse pattern because the English version is just rubbish.
Bring back EX era reverse patterns. Come on.
Who wants that? Who wants that?
It's boring, isn't it? Just different energies in different patterns, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you mentioned it before, but obviously on the pack art we've got Hisuian Zoroark, Gengar, and Zubat.
Interesting.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, we've had a Radiant Gardevoir released, shown.
Oh, leaked. There was also a Radiant Sneasler leaked, but I don't know whether that's legit or not.
Oh, okay. So the Radiant Gardevoir isn't a leak. It's just been confirmed. It was posted by the Pokemon Company.
Okay. I'm just gonna have a look, see if I can find that Radiant Sneasler. Yeah, it has. It's been confirmed. Radiant Sneasler.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful. With a shiny palette. Love these cards. They're so cool. Have a little Hawlucha somewhere from... Where is it down here? I need the other two, but... Ooh. They're just so cool. Let me take it out of sleeve.
And we've got...
Come on, camera, you can do it.
It will focus one day.
Doesn't fancy it.
It's having a struggle, isn't it?
Oh, there you go. Ching, 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 ching. Mate,
yeah, they are great.
I love them.
And then there's a Snorlax.
Oh.
There's a Snorlax, and he's in the road.
What was it, hit for 180 or something?
Yeah, it hits for 180, but then puts itself to sleep.
But there's something that can help with that, right?
Yeah, there's a supporter that you can attach to your Pokemon, which lets it attack while asleep.
A tool, item tool.
Yeah, tool.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's got an ability that doesn't allow it to be hit by your opponent's attacks.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So that's exciting. I suppose in between those two sets, we're talking. It's hard to really confirm the theming. Obviously, we're going to keep within the Arceus theme. There's going to be because with Hisuian Zoroark, the Legends Arceus theme is going to continue in that set. I imagine we'll have that for quite a while. But swinging through to the set that sits between those two sets, we're jumping to a complete other game. Blast from the past. What, 2013? We're back to Pokemon Go.
It's on its 5-year anniversary.
Am I off? Am I way off?
Yeah, you're way off.
Is it 2018 then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was getting I was getting them mixed up.
2030.
I don't know.
You were still in school.
Yeah, I was. Well, I was just starting uni then. I think. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. I think I just started university. But yeah, we've got Pokemon Go coming out, which is you said. Mascot of Mewtwo V-Star?
Yeah, Mewtwo V-Star is the main guy. We don't know much about it.
No, well they started teasing we had the Professor Trainer card, didn't we, a while back?
Yeah.
Which was quite expensive actually. It still is reasonably expensive and quite hard to get hold of. In English it came out in was it the Pikachu boxes? The V-Union Pikachu?
You can get it's in any V-Union box now.
Any?
It's in the Morpeko V-Union box as well.
Interesting. So they seem to be pushing that quite a lot, but it suggested that they were going to do some stuff, seeing as it. But I mean, it could have been a one-off. But set will be all right. I'll give it a miss. More than likely, I'm not too fussed. I haven't played Pokemon Go in a very long time.
S10B.
Yeah. And the thing is with it, for it to have a coherent theme and for it to be a good Pokemon Go set would mean that it will have elements that I'm not bothered about because I'm not bothered about Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
If it just ends up being a normal set with some really cool art in it, I'll be like, yeah, that's that's better. But the point is then it's not a Pokemon Go set, is it? So what's the point?
So it's been confirmed that it's going to be a Mewtwo and Machamp.
Yeah.
They're going to have V-Stars.
Okay.
And they've also said there's going to be an Eevee with a new rarity.
An Eevee with new rarity?
A new rarity, yeah.
So we obviously have Shadow Pokemon, don't we? Or Corrupt Pokemon in Pokemon Go. The other thing that could return, which both of us I think would be quite happy with, is Dark Pokemon, because of the Team Rocket theming in Pokemon Go. So if they throw some Team Rocket in there, and it's well,
you'll be all about it.
I might change my mind.
Yeah.
Immediate reversion.
That's the 17th of June. That's due out.
Okay.
In Japan. And then I think it's the 1st of July in English. So it's not that much of a difference between the two sets.
Cool. So yeah, lots of new sets to look forward to. Keep churning them out. We'll try and keep up with them as we always do.
The art's looking good. There's a Pikachu and Dark Phantasma that's been released.
Nice.
Lovely.
All those leaks and stuff are available on like Poke Beach, aren't they?
Poke Beach.
Yeah, the Pikachu's nice. I think it was one with a berry, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, it's one with a berry.
Yeah, it's nice artwork. So moving on from new sets that we've had confirmed, there's a few other light things. We can't really talk too much about what this means, but we've got some new copyrights as well, which most people know. The copyrights pretty much always line up with sets. Like people don't, say, oh, there's a new copyright, and it never ends up coming through. It pretty much guaranteed always happens. But we've got Incandescent Arcana, which is a bonkers set name. No idea what that's going to be. Could be that if they keep the theme of Legends Arceus going, which they might. When is just to double check before I keep talking, is the Scarlet and Violet release date this year or next year?
I believe it's this year, but I think it's the back end. Yeah, I think it's holiday 2022. I think they said. So
it'll be like a Christmas release, and because Sword and Shield did that right. Is that right? Did it release in springtime? I can't remember.
No, because the first Sword and Shield base came out in English in
wasn't it, or January, February?
January, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a. So I think they'll do the same thing. So and just say we've got 3 sets. One which is more than likely going to be the high class pack set for this year. It would surprise me if that would kind of be the reset point for me. So after that, we'll get Scarlet and Violet base set, which will be a duo set in Japanese, which normally lines up with the numbering when they have duo sets, because we've got Space Time Juggler. A Space Juggler and Time, what's it called? Time Distortion? Is that right? No? Gazer, that's it. And they normally do a few sets, and then they come back and they do a duo set, because they're their base sets, essentially, the resets of the meta in Japanese, where the set symbol moves on, so when they reset standard, it comes up to that set. So yeah, but we've got Incandescent Arcana, which I think might have something to do with arcane magic or arcane is like fire based. So they might start doing sets that are based around some of the Hisuian themes. So maybe something around the fire Pokemon that are in.
I was just having a quick read of what Pokebeach were saying, and they're saying that their assumption is that it's going to be based around either Heatran or Cresselia.
Okay, Incandescent Arcana? Okay.
Yeah.
So around the legendaries that come post game. I would like to see some more Arcanine though. I know we've got some stuff confirmed for Phantasma.
It's got 2 cards now. We don't need any more.
Hollow though. He needs more love. How has Arcanine not got an ultra rare card in so long? Given him WotC, Arcanine had some insane cards. I'd love to see that come back through again. But yeah, Incandescent Arcana rumoured for August. Don't take that date for anything. It's just rumours. Then there's the hardest word to say for a lot of people, but Paradigm Trigger. Everyone says paradig.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, but Paradigm Trigger should be around September. And then V-Star Universe is the high class pack rumoured for November, so that will be essentially your Shiny Star V, your Ultra Shiny GX, your Tag All Stars. It's going to be
VMAX Climax.
VMAX Climax. Yeah, VMAX Climax is a weird one because it kind of is of that level, but it's in the off year, so they normally tend to do like this might be like another shiny set. It would surprise me if they didn't bring back the shiny gimmick for this set, because it's been so popular for the last two sets. Like Shiny Star V sold incredibly well in Japan. So yeah, there's some new copyrights to look forward to. We'll keep an eye on those, and as soon as we hear anything from those, we'll put some more info out there as soon as we can. But I suppose, unless there's anything else in the news, anything else you can see?
I don't think so.
Cool. So yeah, lots of really good things to look forward to. The news section's been longer because, like I said, it's been a while since we've done one of these, but I'm looking forward to them. Should be good. I suppose the next thing, which is kind of a news piece, but in a way is like announced. I've already put my 2 cents in on Twitter, but we had the illustration contest shortlist, so there'll be promos coming or a promo, a winner that will be announced soon, which will print just like the Grand Prix Illustrator Charizard and the Gardevoir from the Sun and Moon era. We've got a shortlist of 300 cards. There's an absolute age of them, so we can't go through all of them, but we've had a look through, and we're big fans of a couple. I don't know if you've got them up, but you want to shout out a couple that you're a big fan of?
Yeah. So does that actually an Arcanine card I like? I can't tell you who it's by though, because it's in Japanese.
Oh, okay.
He's got like.
Does it not translate for you? Because I've got translation on the official website. On the top right, there's like a language thing that switches between Japanese and English. You should be able to get the artist name. But yeah, while you're trying to sort that one out with Arcanine.
Atsuta Hidemaru?
So Hidemaru.
So an Arcanine with like steam coming out.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, with this. Oh no, hold on, that's not right. Oh, I wish these were. I suppose it's a different language, so I'm being an idiot. I was about to say, I wish it was in alphabetical order. I like the Maki Arcanine. I love the colours in it. It's like the red one with the crazy autumn colours and stuff.
There's so many of these need to. If these people obviously don't win, they should still be
commissioned,
looking to hire them for the Pokemon Company, because the art style you can see clear art styles on some of these people, and I think they'd really add something new.
Yeah, and a lot of the previous Illustrator contest people got into, like they've been commissioned to do artwork. A lot of them made through. I did not realise this. There's the artist called Meri Inu. That's definitely me saying that wrong. But there's an Arcanine card of that I didn't even realise in the first instance. But they've got multiple cards. They've got the Sizzle, which is probably my favourite illustration in the whole contest. But there's like little Growlithe paw prints at the front, and then Arcanine's like running away in the distance. Well, like running away, like in front perspective. It's the one just after the Hidemaru Atsuta card that you like, the Steam one. But I didn't realise that was the card's perspective. So like you're looking from Growlithe's perspective and chasing Arcanine. That's really cool. I didn't.
That is really cool. Yeah, actually, yeah. No, I see it.
I didn't see that first time.
That's an artist. I mean, even if it wasn't that perspective, that's an artist. That art style would just fit in.
I'm pretty sure they've done work for the Pokemon Company. I'd say I'm like 70% sure. But yeah, like
got
the Cramorant and the Sizzle sections for me are like they're so good. Like
I think it'll be a Cramorant card that wins.
Yeah, massively popular in Japan.
I just can't see how it's the strongest lineup.
Yeah, there's some really cool like traditional Japanese artworks, artwork styles for Cramorant, which are really, really nice.
And then there's some crazy ones which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, these two. Yeah, I mean Cramorant's super derpy, which is like really cool. So the storm was just eating the baguette. It's like from Sword. It's just so weird. Like I mean this Julie Hang one. I know you can't see my screen, but there's just like you say, there's just such a massive variety for Cramorant. And and it's like the Pokemon itself has got such a cool gimmick in the sense that like it like swallows what's it called? The Pokemon, the fish.
Arrokuda.
It's Arrokuda's previous evolution. Oh yeah, Arrokuda, yeah, because then it's Barrascuda, isn't it, or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the one that's really cool for me is there's like a Kanoji, which is like almost like a 3D rendered Cramorant, which is like stealing a fish from a fisherman. It's like super high res, like crazy, and that just like such a massive variety of art styles on display.
I've just noticed in a couple of them, Cramorant's trying to eat a Pikachu.
Yeah, that's like a thing in Japan, isn't it? Where because they did a promo where he was like swallowing Pikachu rather than the Arrokuda. So it's like that's what I'm talking about. Like, that gimmick is like a really popular thing in Japan, and I can see why it's so it's so popular with the art and stuff that's been pulled through. So yeah, mad good art. So if you guys want to check out all of you will not be disappointed. Just imagine some of these on cards. They would be incredible. I wish they would make a full set of all of these and just put them in promo packs and just said for the next year, even though the winner will get their own printed where they just come as a promo, but they should do it where essentially like all of the cards get put into, I don't know, they could shortlist down to 100, put all of them into a promo pack, and then every time you buy a booster box in Japan, you get a pack of cards that contains these promos, and you can collect the set by collecting the other mainline sets over the year and put together a binder. That would be awesome. I think that would be really, really cool, and it's because it's such a shame to get rid of so many artworks, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, Melissa Pierce needs to be hired by the Pokemon Company.
Who, sorry? Melissa Pierce. Yeah, I just got to that Greninja card.
Yeah,
it's
that
incredible.
Yeah, that's a new style that we've not got anything similar to that in the TCG.
No.
And
I think that should win. Personally.
Yeah. It's like the little claymation ones, isn't it? It's something where there's one in every set. It's not always the most exciting Pokemon in the world.
Yeah.
But you're going to get one.
Yeah. There's like you say, it's all about that originality. So like there's another Greninja here called Clay. The artist is called Clay Yoshirin, and it's like, I get it, like clay cards are really cool, but we have Yukimori, and there's two other artists like in the past that have done clay art as well. So that's like it's a thing that's been done. So yeah, I just want to call out before we move on, because I appreciate we've got lots of... if you want to see what my personal favourites are, by the way, you can follow me on Twitter, Tojo TCG, but I pulled out all of my favourites. And then I'll include the link to the illustration contest shortlist in the description for this video as well, so if you want to have a look through yourself. But yeah, this Louis Zong scissor where he's like cutting, it's like the little toy... he's like holding it up, his little cut Pikachu paper cut next to the kid. This is again a style that we've never seen before. It's super cute, really, really cool. I just love contests like this because they give us the art, and I think this is why the caliber of art we've had for all the recent standard sets is so high. Because you've got artists like this looking to get jobs, and as long as they keep bringing people in like this, keep doing stuff like this, the main sets are going to keep being super strong. So no stock art Sigilfs or Sigilifs, please. Even they sneak in every now and then. Just hire one of these guys. Come on, it's a no-brainer.
Hopefully they don't pick a Charizard again.
Yeah. So the Pokemon are Arcanine, Cramorant, Galarian Rapidash, Greninja, and again another fan favourite, Greninja, always in the mix. Scizor and Pikachu and Charizard, I think.
And
Bulbasaur, yeah. But yeah, there's so many great pieces of art. Go check them out. Go look at them. And we couldn't possibly cover all of them. Cool. So, should we get onto our main topic, because we've been going for a while, and I think we should just have a quick chat about this. So I'll put timestamps in the description so you guys can skip chapters and do what you need to do. So if this is just the main topic that you're interested in hearing us talk about, welcome. we finally got round to it. So the main kind of talking point for today is going to be around grading labels, not specifically grading companies because that's a different topic in itself. Lots of new grading companies popping up, and it seems to be the thing that most people are talking about. They don't talk about the grading quality, the inconsistencies, as much as they do rear their heads. I think that's a fairly consistent problem across the board, and that will just be a thing that happens with any grading company. Not to burst your bubble or your bias for PSA, it happens there too. But we're talking about labels today, right? So we've got a couple graded cards. I've got some PSA cards. You've got some PSA cards. Have you got anything else? You got any other
CGC card?
CGC cards. So we've got plenty of choice. We're basically covering the big three plus Ace Grading, which is a new company that's been very successful in the UK so far, which is where me and Con are based. So I'm going to switch over. So I suppose before we look at some labels, I want to kind of define what we think personally is important. So when you look at a label, what are you looking for, Con? What do you think is most important?
Well, it's got to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know what the grade is straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anything distracting from that, and I want to know the details of the card.
Okay.
And I just want it clean and simple, which is probably why PSA has had such success long term. But just want clean and simple.
Yeah. I will agree with you on pretty much all of those points. The only other thing that I will say is that the label should never take away from the centerpiece. That's the most important thing, which is the card, which I think some people forget about sometimes. You know, like when I pick up a graded card, a lot of the time, the first thing you should look at is the card, not the number. So like the number needs to be clear, but you know, you'll see like some people, they'll look through PSA, like let's say there's a display case, and they'll look through and they'll be like 999, oh that's a 10, what card is it? And then you're like, well that's not the point, right? You should be, the card is first, the grade is second. A lot of big YouTubers / collectors, say big, but people who are prominent in the community and have done this for a long time always say buy the card, not the grade.
I think I've got eights, sevens.
Yeah.
Tens.
And that's the point, right? And they mean that in multiple different facets, right? They mean that in terms of look at the condition, because the condition might not match up to the grade. The other thing is, like you say, is buy the cards that are important to you. Don't worry about a number. At the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Go for the things that are most important to you. So when we look at labels, we look at a couple. So let's just switch over. We'll take a look at some examples. So we'll start off with PSA. So pretty generic, really. Like it's been very consistent for a number of years now. You've got a couple yourself. You're probably pulling one out now.
Yeah, I'm just getting some so because I can't see your screen. So
yeah,
I'm just
I know. We'll figure something out for that, for how we can manage this so you can see too. But yeah, red borders, barcode bottom left. The professional sports authenticator blue back has been pretty standard on the back for a number of years now. We've got certain number bottom right on both sides, and that's kind of it really. You normally have the set information on the left, the grading information set. There's the set number or the number of the card within the set that it exists, the kind of verbal description of the grade number, and then the cert number. It's been the same for years and years. PSA have never really changed the overall format. They've changed a couple, so I've got a couple examples here. So in some of their older cards, the PSA name is at the top and is in white in the red border, and then on a few of the more recent grades, they've started to move the PSA logo to be the new kind of rebrand into kind of holofoil little certified like patches at the bottom of the label. So they did this here. You can't see, but it was like a little smaller patch along with the board at the top, and then they've moved it into more recently. If you get a card graded now, you'll see like a little silver strip that sits at the bottom over the red border, and the PSA logo is no longer in the top border, I'm pretty sure.
All of mine have got that the newest label.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's kind of a way you can tell when the card was either recased or when it was graded. The cert number is another indicator of that, obviously. Overall, PSA, for me, obviously, it's super simple. It doesn't take anything away from the card. The position of the grade, the only criticism I could have is that it doesn't... the number is small, right? But then again, like I say, it's just really plain and simple, so it just works. I find it quite hard to criticise their label overall. What do you think?
It's the standard.
Yeah.
It's the industry standard, but I would say it doesn't face off well against competition that have taken what they've done and modernised it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look fresh.
No, I agree.
I look at it and it looks like it was designed in the early 2000s or the late 90s.
The 90s, well, because it probably was.
Yeah, and they've not bothered to do anything else. And from a brand perspective, that's all well and good, isn't it? Because it's important to have a consistent
an identity.
theme.
Yeah.
But I think it's basically the minimum standard that you have to reach.
Yeah, I think in terms of kind of like security and validation, it's worth noting that PSA don't have anything in terms of like NFC, or it's literally just the barcode and the cert number that's the only like form of security and verification on a slab. Some of the other competitors that we'll talk about in a second, they do have alternatives to that. But I suppose the thing is, the main criticism we can have with PSA, and I think most people would agree with this, is that it looks dated. They haven't changed or modernised what they do. Some people would say that's a good thing. Others, it keeps consistency. It sets a standard that they're happy with. It means that if I've got an old PSA card and a new PSA card, from a distance, if I have them on the shelf, it's not really going to differentiate too much. So they look relatively consistent, which I suppose is a good thing. I don't think they're going to change anything anytime soon. It's just not going to happen. I wouldn't mind.
It's going to be way down their priority list.
Yeah, they ain't got to worry about stuff like that. So that's PSA. I suppose the next, we'll go into Beckett next. So BGS, or Beckett Grading Services. Beckett have a completely different approach to labels, very similar. It's like this more modern approach that you see a lot of these pop-up grading places have. Big old grading number on the right with the verbal explanation of the grade classification just below it. They have different coloured labels, which is already a different differentiation compared to PSA. So you've got white labels, silver labels, gold labels, black labels, depending on the grade. So that's a nice one for your brain to digest when you have a large collection of them. It's a nice quick indicator, but again, it could be seen as a bit of a gimmick. I don't mind either way. I think it just makes the lower grades look more rubbish, which is kind of not the point. I don't think you should try and take away from something just because it's a 4 or whatever, like you can see with this Charizard that's on that I've got pulled up. So I suppose the other thing is subgrades as well. What do you think about like the positioning of subgrades and stuff like that?
I think they're important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's where PSA fail.
Okay, and so like I think in terms of rather than the service though, from a label perspective.
Oh, from a label perspective.
I think like perspective-wise and spacing and things like that. What do you think about Beckett? How do you think they do?
It looks their labels look very busy.
Yeah.
I would say, and part of that is because the label's not the same size as all of the others, is it? Because the Beckett logo is part of the case itself.
Yeah, it's on the left, isn't it? And then they mount the label
massive.
on the right. Yeah, I think I think they're very simple. Like the typeface and stuff that they choose looks a little bit like it doesn't really look that attractive. But then I suppose that simplicity lends the point that we've been talking about, which is don't take away from the thing that sat below it. The label itself, like in terms of using different coloured labels, so the classification is basically there's pristine 10 and there's perfect 10, which we'll get onto CGC in a second, but there's the same concept there. Essentially, 9.5s and 10s are gold label by Beckett standard. So you'll hear like a Beckett gold label. A gold 10 basically just means that you've got like one subgrade that is a 9.5, so it's one tiny, it's a 0.5 off a perfect 10, and then those perfect 10, those or black labels that people call them because they're black, is all 10s. So they change the colour based on that, and then they obviously have the cert number that's below the grade itself. In terms of the numbering, do you prefer that this is bigger compared to PSA? Like yes. You can see the grade straight away. Yeah, I think it's a bit clearer. It's nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the other part is I kind of know what the grade is just looking at the colour of the label.
Yeah. You can put it on a relatively easy kind of like scale to judge off, right? You say so. White is it's bad. Silver is that's probably like an 8 or a 7 or whatever it is. Gold is like that's almost perfect, and then your 10 is like okay, so that is perfect. That's like the pinnacle, essentially. Yeah, it's quite cool to see. I don't mind them at all. They're like they could be a bit nicer, but they move on for subgrades, and that's kind of how it works. I think it looks a bit basic, again, a bit dated. I think generally their styling is quite dated, but
especially the black label.
Yeah, the black label looks super dated. I mean, it's a nice thing to have, but it's the reason why people like it is because it's attached to the prestige of the grade, not actually because the design's nice. So yeah, very very simplistic. They've been going for a reasonable amount of time, Beckett, so it's not surprising. I still much prefer a PSA label over Beckett for me. That's my preference. But yeah, like I say, overall looks a bit dated. Doesn't take away too much from the card, but it starts to get to that point where we're talking about different colours, right? Shiny labels and things like that.
Yeah.
We're getting there. I suppose the next one, I keep switching to the Ace. We'll get to there in a second. Next up is CGC. So again, subgrades. Large grade is in a different position. Font is a little bit bigger, maybe a bit easier to pass. The backs are very simple. We're talking about PSA with barcodes. There is QR codes on the back of the CGC labels, and they've got this like silver, like hollow foil like stamp that's you can't falsify. Essentially, it's for authentication. They don't go with different colours. They just go with different coloured numbers. So you guys can see. So we've got pristine 10 means all 10 subgrades, but half off, so like a 9.5 on one, and then perfect 10 is all 10, but perfect 10 and pristine 10 have the same gold color, which is interesting for the 10, and then anything below a 10 is just kind of black font, like anything from a 9.5 or below. I suppose the difference is here subgrades are in a different position. What do you think overall about CGC, Con?
So out of the three we've spoken about, I prefer them the most. I think they look the most modern. Mm-hmm. They provide the information's clear.
Yeah.
It doesn't look incredibly busy.
Yep.
I think it's just that's taken what Beckett and PSA have done and modernised it. But then I guess they're in a position where they're a newer company, so it's easier to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure.
There's a couple of other CGC labels, by the way.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Send you this link.
Okay.
I think they mostly relate to comic books, but.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
I have seen a green label Charizard before.
Oh, interesting. Cool. So yeah, there's a couple different labels with CGC then. I almost said CCG then. Collectible card games. Confusing.
It's based on what's going on. So obviously the yellow is the signature series. So that's.
Okay, got you. So yeah, and I think the thing is with CGC is obviously they've been doing comic book grading for a while now. Yeah. So they're kind of established. They know what they're doing. The only criticism that I might have with this is like the light, like almost prime blue, does clash a little bit with some cards. I had the same criticism for a red border with PSA, to be fair. Yeah. Whereas Beckett is a lot, simpler. You just want that subtlety, like I say. The blue's going to not take away from a couple of things, but it just does make things a little bit it sets off against the card sometimes. You kind of want it to be just like nice and simple, nice and plain. I don't think they would suffer from like making their labels grey or something more neutral, right?
No.
So, but that's just their branding, right? CGC.
Yeah, it's brand. Yeah, blue's their colour, isn't it? So
yeah, it's their stamp. So you know that it's a CGC label when you see it because it's blue, and you've got the blue border at the top. But yeah, I think they're basically a better iteration on the Beckett labels. Personally, that's how I feel. And then obviously the back is pretty simple. There's nothing really going on too much on the back of those labels. So yeah, I suppose this kind of brings into really why I wanted to talk about this, and that's because there's a massive demand at the moment for ACE grading, ACE labels and things like that here. For background, I know most people who watch this will know this, but ACE grading was started up by Randolph, and I believe the majority shareholders or people of influence are the guys who ran Graded Gem, who were a PSA middleman service for Europe, and in the latter stages before that relationship between them and PSA broke down in America as well with Z&G Emporium. So they've started their own grading company. It's massive here just because PSA is such a pain and is so expensive to use here right now. They're doing really well. Their branding is, as expected, on point. Their publicity's been pretty incredible, and the response to them being here has been initially mixed. Lots of people complaining about different things, but ultimately they are successful. That can't be, you can't take that away from them. But yeah, they've got some labels. What are your thoughts on ACE graded labels? There's a few to talk about, isn't there?
ACE graded labels.
Yeah.
Well, if I want to talk about the standard label,
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, it's 10 out of 10, isn't it?
It's modern. It looks great. Doesn't take away from the card.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's clear. The text is nice and bold, and so you can see from a distance what the card is.
Yep.
What set it's come from.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to go downhill for me.
I don't think there's much more to say. So yeah, I've got it just up on the screen at the moment. So these are the different label tiers that you can have. So you can have standard, colour match, or ACE label. So this is where we get into the point of like grading being a cosmetic change rather than an authentication / like serializing, or the whole point is you're getting it authenticated at not just the fact that the thing inside is authentic, but also that the grade is certified or authentic. This is the condition of this item, and when you start to move away from, like I say, the bare bones simplicity of say like PSA or the standard label. The standard label for ACE is like a nice brush up on everything we've seen, like I say, modernizes everything, and as soon as you go to the other side, you're basically just doing it for flex or like people just showing off, right? You're paying a premium to have something either match the card that's inside the case, which to me half the time doesn't even work, or the ACE label is an extension supposedly of the art of the card, and personally I think that takes away from the card. Some people will say it blends in nicely, but for me it's a gimmick. It's a way of them making money. It makes the text a lot less clearer, and half of the ACE labels for me just are absolute misses. They're really not great.
I just don't like any of them.
There's a couple, come on. There's a few that are actually okay, that are decent and blend well, but it still doesn't mean that I like the concept of it.
Yeah, some of them are designed well, but they take away from the card.
Yeah, agreed.
It takes away from the card, and it makes the label look extremely busy.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with some of these, right, is that they just get super busy. I've got the ACE label page up. So these are all of which is, to be fair to them, this is a nice feature on their site. They have all of the ACE labels for different cards that they'll let you submit. They're just super. Here's the Charizard V from Starbirth. This is like, for instance, so this is one that these are ones that just fail, just unequivocally for me, is like the base set holos. Like the Blastoise one is terrible. It's literally a wave with a lighthouse on it. What has a lighthouse got to do with base set Blastoise? Like literally nothing. I would much rather this just be super simple, and I don't want to take anything away from that piece of vintage goodness that's sat in that case. But yeah, you can check all of these. But I think a lot of them look a little bit like unprofessional. The artwork in them's not that great. When you remove the text, they get worse because you start to see the lack of detail in some of them. And
the Origin Dialga V for Time Gazer.
Let's have a look. Is it in there? Oh, beep. I'm just going to find that if I can. Origin. What the hell is that? Is that for the alt arts?
No. That's for the normals.
No, that's secret.
Oh, no,
it's for the full
online.
arts. That's for the full arts. That's for the full arts. The full art ones are. They might match the back pattern, to be fair. Yeah, I'm looking at the special art ones. Sorry. So there's the one with like loads of stairs on it. Fair enough. And then there's the diagonal one. To be fair, that recaptures the texture quite well, but it's just a repeat of the art. So I feel it looks out of place. It's like here's the art, and then here it is again. I think if they're gonna do ace labels, it should be, like I say, a continuation of the art, because then it blends better. I don't know, man. I just think these are a miss. There might be some ace labels that people really like. To be fair, we could be the minority here, right? They're very popular. Lots of people are submitting under them. And fair play. If that's what you want in your collection and you're using grading as a display piece, then by all means go for it. I just think there's cheaper alternatives, i.e. there's plenty of artists that can Photoshop this and probably do a better job, make you custom frames, do that. Like at that point you're paying a premium for a display frame rather than the actual point, which is grading, right? So yeah, there was one thing I wanted to say about ace, but I can't actually remember what it was. Oh yeah, the reason why some of these ace labels don't work is just mainly because, and I think the homepage is a perfect example of this. If you look at the Hootoo that's on their labels page, so if you go to the website and you can see what I'm talking about, the Hootoo CHR from Battle Region, it's like the extension of the art works. It's like it's not a bad label. It's not a bad ace label, relative terms, in my opinion. It's just the text has this like heavy, hard black outline, and it just makes it really illegible and just looks bizarre. So I think, and I do it on some of our thumbnails and resources and stuff, things like drop shadows work really well because they're a subtle way of you being able to just pull something away from like another piece of art or another layer of like a graphic without you having to like put a hard deadline in and make it look really sharp and like striking. It also makes things a little bit easier to read as well, because then the true boundary of the letter, without it being expanded by a border, is just generally more legible, I think, anyway. So if I was going to give them one piece of feedback for these ace labels, aside from I don't think they're great and you need to hire some better artists, that's not me being shady, I just think that's how it is, but they should definitely look at reworking how they make them more readable. So
I mean, even their colour match is hit and miss. I mean, and you don't know what the colour match is until you get it back.
Yeah, you don't get to choose, do you?
No. And they haven't got a list like they do for the ace labels. But
yeah, it's like
their standard labels are the best in the game.
Yeah, and that's what frustrates me, right? Is that like I feel like they've turned their grading process into a gimmick that it didn't need to be, because their standard labels are so nice. So yeah, I think this is the standard. The other thing to mention with Ace's labels is obviously the security signature, the SciTheme stuff. So basically just guaranteeing like a grading signature for specific cards, so people can't mess with things. And yeah, it's a cool addition, and the back side of the slab looks really smart. It's got the QR code and that SciTheme, the barcode, the cert number, and it's kind of like that's the level of professionalism that they should be showing. Like these are the security standards and procedures that should be put into place. They seem to be making all the right decisions from that space. So I'm hoping that they realise and start to move away from the gimmick, especially if they want to be taken seriously as they move across seas, because they're looking at moving to Europe and America. They start to move away from the gimmicky stuff, because that's when the serious people are going to start taking them more seriously. Submitting big cards with them, trophies and proper vintage cards and things like that. So yeah, I think, is there anything else you want to chat about labels?
No, I think
so. Ace grading standard, that's the one to beat, I think.
that they've set the bar, and
Yep.
it's up to anyone else to go and get them. And I don't think it's out the realms of possibility for PSA
To change. You don't think?
Yeah.
They could
They
do.
could use it. They can use their current branding to make a label like that.
Be interesting to see if that happens. So we'll keep an eye.
I think one point we haven't mentioned is that, especially if you compare it to Beckett, the X label looks less busy because it doesn't have subgrades.
Yes, that's true. And they've achieved that via their grading report stuff. So you can still access that information. Whereas with PSA, you just can't get it. Whereas with ACE, every grading submission, I believe you can pay for the grading report, no matter what tier you submitted it at. Which is
that's a new offering, isn't it?
Yeah, they just announced that. And Beckett do something similar, I think, for high-end cards. I've seen Leonhardt and Gary do it on some of their videos where they've been told where the imperfections and stuff are, because you can say to them, especially on reholdering, so if you take a PSA card and want to put it in a Beckett case, that you can say, unless it's going to get this grade, I don't want you to crack it. I don't know how they accurately look at the card doing that, but yeah, it's a tough space to navigate. Like I say, you're moving between these being pieces of art to collectibles to investment pieces. So you've got to find that nice middle lane to satisfy all those criteria. But I've still not submitted with ACE. It might be something that I do eventually, but I'm just not in a rush to submit and get cards graded.
Well, you're still waiting a year and something on for your PSA ones.
Don't talk to me about that. Cool. I suppose with that note, we should wrap up. Last couple of things I was supposed to mention is next week. Next Saturday we've got our big anniversary box break, talking of that 1 year anniversary we had just gone yesterday. Hopefully this is edited and put up before that comes out. I imagine it won't be that hard for me to put these together. We'll have the Time Gazer and Space Juggler box breaks coming pretty soon, and then hopefully we can start shifting some stuff from Japan, start thinking about changing up how we do a few things so we can start getting those shipments back across for single cards as well. But really looking forward to the break next week. Should be really, really good. It's going to be opening quite a few packs, different sets. So if you haven't already, check out our website, our box break section. We've got plenty of sets from Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield era, some really killer cards there available. So looking forward to cracking into those and chilling out with everyone in live chat as usual. And if you haven't already, if you've just caught this just on your timeline and you've listened all the way through, first kudos, thanks for listening to me ramble. And like and subscribe, the usual YouTube stuff. We're really close to 200 subs. We'd love to start pushing towards that 200 mark and get up to that 250. That'd be great. We would love that.
Especially for our birthday.
Yeah, it'd be a nice little birthday present, wouldn't it?
It would.
It would be very nice. So yeah, I suppose that's everything from us. Thank you to everyone for tuning in if you're here watching this back. And we'll see you very soon for some more breaks, some more streams, and maybe the next VillainVOD very soon. Should be good. But yeah, thanks for joining me, Connor. It's been nice chatting.
Yours.
And yeah, I'll catch you. We'll catch you all soon.